ones where I got really trashed and had sex in the toilets were probably the best ones.
I'm Dette and Mayuan Mak, co-founder of the Slimelight, along with my husband, Mayuan, who died recently. This is the longest-running goth club and dark club in the world. We also run the Electroworks, which is the iconic venue in London. Mak and I started Slimelight in 1987. People who were unique, so they had a safe place to come where they wouldn't get picked on for what they looked like or what they wore. Because in those days, people would put signs up on pubs saying, no punks allowed, no weirdos. So we decided to open a place where only we could get in.
The atmosphere of the early days was very much like a squat party, and there was a mixture of goths, bikers, gay people, people that were just drunk and wanted somewhere to go, but always an alternative crowd.
I come from Hartlepool where they hung the monkey. I was Catholic convent girl. I wasn't a goth then, I was a hippie. I was a long time ago, I'm old. I started off as a hippie, and then I went to punk, and then goth came, and then that's what I've stuck with. I got into the goth scene when I met Mak in 1987. I was working on the door of the Kit Kat and he was DJing. We never advertised. We did leaflet in the beginning, and we also did free night to build it up, obviously. So we did it floor by floor, and it was completely derelict. There was no electric, no doors, there was nothing. We didn't open it downstairs because it was complete wreck, so I opened an indoor paintball site.
First time I came to Slimelight, it was bring your own drink. It was just one dance floor, and it was £3 to get in, and it was really underground. You only heard about it word of mouth, and you had to be signed in by a member. Most
nights were crazy, and the first 10 years I would say I was partying a lot, as well as running the door.
Do you remember what the naughtiest thing you've ever seen at the club would be?
I don't think I'm going to say that. I don't think I can tell you some of the things that happened here, to be quite honest.
I would say the ones where I got really trashed and had sex in the toilets were probably the best ones.
Those toilets have got some stories to tell.
It was probably 94, 95 I started coming here. To me, it was like a sort of a goth paradise. I saw all these beautiful people queuing outside, beautiful haircut and makeup. For me, obviously, it was something completely different.
A lot of people had long black crimped hair. A lot of people used to wear winkle pickers, very tight trousers and black lipstick.
My favourite Slimelight outfit was my pink boots with the big wedges on them, about that big. And lots of hair. One of the main ways you could tell a goth was if they had big boots on, because they're the only people who wore them.
The walls were very sticky, and the toilets usually overflowed.
And they used to lean against the wall, walk away, be covered in white, because they hadn't got around to painting that bit yet.
Basically, going back home was to take the dress and just put in the, in the bathtub straight away.
I believe there was once a off-duty policewoman who bit off her boyfriend's ear on one of the dance floors.
The first time we put a band on, I remember standing in the sound box with Mak and looking over the place, and it was packed and everyone was dancing. I said to Mak, I think we've practiced, do you think? And he said, yeah. So we opened another floor. Typical. A big part of it's gone since Mak died, obviously. He was definitely off the wall. There was only one of him. When Mak died, everything changed.
When Mak died, it was probably nearly as bad as when my father died.
He was such a gentle, caring soul.
Just completely crushed me.
Destroyed. It just shook the community like no other.
He was so well liked, you know what I mean? And he would do anything for anybody, He was very protective of me.
He was very supportive of new artists and new DJs and new musicians.
I remember one of the old punks in the wheelchair. I remember Mak and all the other guys literally bringing the wheelchair upstairs every single time he wanted to go up and down.
After he died, I just wondered whether the whole thing could carry on. I was thinking, what could you do that would make Mak happy? And the answer was, if you keep going to the club and you keep trying to make the club a success and you get other people to go there, then that's the way that you keep people alive.
My name is Ricardo Castro. I run Slimelight since May 2022.
There's a lot of baby goths now, It's quite nice. The old goths complain about them a bit, but they forget that it was open for them because they looked unique. And these people look unique. And it does mean they're safe here. I mean, there was poor Sophia who got killed because of what she looked like.
Ricardo decided to open a little bit more the Slimelight, to involve more the young people and the new generation with the techno.
We have like the outrageous club kids and the more traditional goth.
When I was living in the suburbs before, like outside of London, it was always quite a lonely experience and there wasn't really other people like me. And goth kind of provided like an outlet where you could dress beautifully and fantastically without really having to explain it as being like queer or trans.
Yeah, I think the future of the Slimelight, it can be more fetish glam goth.
It's more live bands.
What goth has to be right now is it needs to be challenging and it needs to piss your parents off still.
It'll continue to evolve, whether it's through music, whether it's through fashion.
And even now, after 30 years, I still get the same kind of buzz of exhilaration. My craziest night at Slimelight's going to probably be next week.
The nerves and the excitement is the magic.
I think Mak and Dette's contribution to the alternative scene across the world is immeasurable because they provided a venue, a safe space for so many people to express themselves.
I think Mac's legacy is that people want the club to continue and they fight for it to continue.
Clubs don't exist that long, especially alternative spaces in squats with punk owners. London needs to be more proud of this and it needs to protect spaces like this.
The legacy of Slimelight will always be here as a safe haven for everybody. It's like my family. It always was like my family.